Welcome back to your soon-to-be favorite podcast. I'm Angelica.
And I'm Kelsey.
And this is
Here We Grow. You go ahead. I gotta find mine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Here We Go podcast. I'm Angelica.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
We're already talking about quote of the
hi.
week and who's gonna say it. We haven't even said hi yet.
Yeah, hello. Welcome back.
We've got quite the story ahead for you guys.
We do. Before we get into that, though, we are going to go over the quote of the week.
Yep. We were
Okay.
planning right before you came in here.
Mm-hmm. The people. This I saw on Mercedes' story. She reposted this, so shout out to Mercedes. The people who are meant to be in your life are the ones who know how to gently wait for you to heal.
Ooh.
Isn't that so cute?
That is very cute.
I love that.
Damn, I can't find mine. Yeah, anyway, Angelica gave you a quote of the week.
Sure did.
We don't owe you anything else.
Sure don't.
How was your week?
Week was better.
Better than the root canal last week?
Yep, my jaw is pretty much completely normal now. It feels okay.
Yep.
Still a little straining a little bit, but it's all right.
Yeah, I saw you laugh earlier and still kind of like grab it a little bit.
Yeah, it just feels different, but not like bad.
Yeah, just getting used to it.
Yeah, but just tracking forward, really.
What does your shirt say? I'm just now asking you this. I've been here for like 6 hours. Probably not 6.
Welcome. No.
Welcome into my... And then it says
I
be a
think it
happy
says
elf.
imagination. No, Wonderland. Our sun won't go down.
Be a happy elf is what it says in the middle.
Oh, shit.
What is this about?
Probably shrooms.
You don't know?
I got it from Shein.
Oh, I thought it kind of looks like a concert merch.
Doesn't it? Isn't it neat?
That's what I
like
thought it
this
was.
one.
I was like, tell me the story. And you're like, I don't know.
Oh.
It really doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think
Wait,
it has to do with
what was the
shrooms.
bottom line again?
Our sun won't go down.
Walk into my wonderland. The sun won't go down. Be a happy elf. And there's pink mushrooms on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute.
It's cute.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I just thought there was a story behind it.
Nope. Not at all.
Something else. We got Drew's book, or you got Drew's book.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start marking it up and using it for quotes of the week as we go through it again.
Shout out to Mario.
We've both listened to it, the full book already.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have a paperback to use for quote of the week.
Mark it up.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be marking it up.
We will, because, that book was so good.
Preach.
Highly recommend.
It's my new Bible.
It really is. I've said that. It's like a Bible for women to self-actuation and to figure out how to have a happy life and what they want out of life.
Yeah. The fact that she's so young and could, like, emulate and articulate all of that into this book.
Yeah. Masterpiece.
Yeah. It's great.
Freaking masterpiece. And still, like, people were saying it's like a self-help book and / memoir.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit of both. And I think by telling her story, it's a self-help book.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
It's like self-help genre, technically.
Yeah.
But also memoir.
Mm-hmm.
I loved hearing about her family and her culture. That was, like, just one of the best parts of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a sucker for some good culture.
Yeah, I'm glad.
The girl lacking culture.
Huh?
Says the girl lacking culture.
You don't like culture.
I do.
Maybe from where you come
familial
from.
Familial culture.
My nose is itchy.
Yeah. I started scratching my armpit.
How's your week?
It was good. Busy at work. Lots of changes coming up. Scheduling lots of things. But it's going to be interesting. My job's basically going to change a lot. Not my job specifically, but like our workflow and our building and the way we work and everything is going to change a lot. But I'm excited for it. I like change. Not many people do. So that sucks.
I think it just depends on what change. Like kind of how you said, like if it's change that's going to help me do my job better, then I encourage it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I welcome it. But if it's like change that I just don't know where this is going to...
Well, I think that's the problem that in most people, I think, with jobs like this are like, any change is bad until proven otherwise.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Like, I'm gonna be upset about it until I realize that it's good for me.
Especially if they think like, like why fix it if it ain't broke?
Right.
Like if the system works how it is, like why would we change it?
Right. It works,
even
but it
if
needs
it's
to be more efficient.
Optimize it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I wish everybody was as excited as I am, because I am super excited about it. Not just because like I found it, but because this is something really cool that will kind of like give us a little change, give us a little variety. And yeah, it's going to be tough, like a tough transition, but eventually it'll be really nice.
Yeah. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. And fall's coming.
Yay!
I saw a post the other day that yesterday or the day before was the last day that sunset was going to be after 8 o'clock. And so it's moving back further and further.
Sorry for those out there who really love summer, but it's coming to an end, bud.
Yeah,
I'm going to let you finish up, but fall is the best season.
I like fall and I'm ready for it. It's bittersweet for me because then winter comes and I don't like winter at all.
Yeah.
I would prefer us not to have winter at all. I'll do spring, summer, and fall, and we can get rid of winter.
Yeah.
There's really nothing about winter that I like besides Christmas, and we could still do Christmas at some other time.
I was going to say, you can have that. You just have to travel outside of the state.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe one day, if this ever takes off.
Go live somewhere else where they don't have a...
Yeah, have a vacation home for the winter.
Yeah, or that.
I know people who do, and people in my job too. Like, we have to put notes on their profile like, oh, at this address during the summer and at this address during the winter.
Wow.
Like, they have 2 homes.
My neighbor's like that. Mm-hmm. She's only here 6 months of the year.
Which neighbor? Which neighbor?
Across the street.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
Because she's older.
I think she's about to leave here soon. Oh, no. Yeah. She usually comes back like in March or April. So yeah, I think she's about to leave here soon. Probably next month.
It's yours. We just push it in there and see if that helps. A little bit better. It was just starting to get louder and louder, and I'm like, okay, we've got to do something. That sounds much better than it was. Yeah. All right, what are we talking about today?
Guys. Okay.
She's been stressing, y'all.
I am so stressed. So today we will be going over the case of Laci Peterson and baby Conner. So
their murder.
The murder of Laci Peterson and baby Conner. I had heard about this case, I would have to say 3 years ago, because when I went back to my YouTube search, I had watched Bella Fury's video. Shout out to Bella, 3 years ago when she posted. And then, so what actually led me to even do this was that I went on Netflix on Monday and I was like, oh, there is a Netflix documentary that had just came out on the 14th called American Murder, the Murder of Laci Peterson and baby Conner. That just came out, and I was like, oh my God, I know about this case. I do not know about this. Like, I knew the premises of it. Like, I knew the gist of it. I remembered it. But there's so much. So I finished the Netflix documentary. I thought I should also rewatch the Bella Fury YouTube video. And then I watched Bailey Sarian, of course, because I love her. She's queen. She also made a video about it 3 years ago. And then I realized yesterday that Peacock had also just recently on the 20th released their face-to-face with Scott Peterson. So the Netflix documentary, for those that want to watch it, talks more about the case of the actual murder and the trial with Scott. And like her mom's on it. Her 3 best friends are on it. Laci's, I meant. Scott's sisters, Scott's sister-in-law, and the detectives that were on the case are on the Netflix documentary, but on the Peacock documentary, it has all those people plus more people that are more on Scott's side, like
friends of his or whatever.
No, not friends, like witnesses that were supposedly never interviewed ever 20 years ago.
Wow.
And then her family refused to do the Peacock one. they got offered and they're like, no. And then it shows Scott Peterson today, like 20 years from that incident. So like he speaks out for the first time in 20 years. So you get to hear like he goes through that day and he talks about his thoughts about it now. And guys, it is wild. And not only that, but like we'll get to it, but just, do you see all my notes?
Wow.
But this is so important today because, spoiler alert, he was convicted of the murder and he was sentenced to death. Since then, his death has been overturned and it's life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, in January of this year, the Los Angeles Innocence Project picked up his case, so he could be exonerated.
Wow.
So, okay, this case, right? This is gonna be. What's that word that I used earlier? Oh my god, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Oh my god, I'm losing the word.
What word did you use?
Evidence. It's some kind of evidence. It's not direct. Circumstantial. Okay. This case is full of circumstantial evidence, right? So like you could look at like one or two pieces of evidence. It might sway you one way or the other, but when you start adding everything up, you're like, I don't know, maybe I think I want to know your thought process. Like if you change your mind, you're like, wait, I'm having doubts. Tell me. Okay. First and foremost, I just want to start off that I am not a true crime, like,
aficionado.
Yeah, like I enjoy it. I enjoy hearing it, but this is not what I do for a living. Like I tried really hard to get as much information as accurate as possible to give you guys, and I'm gonna try really hard. Like I have literally tons of notes that I then had to consolidate, and even then I wasn't done because there's so much to this case. So I'm so sorry if I missed something. I encourage you to watch either documentary or both.
We'll link them in the show notes.
Yeah. But we're just gonna give you a little rundown here, and first and foremost, I just want to extend our condolences to the family. Although it's been 20 plus years, I'm sure that doesn't get any easier.
Yeah.
To Laci's family, and hopefully, that
some truth comes out.
Yeah, I mean,
they can find peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, guys. I will be looking at my notes, so bear with me. If you're listening,
y'all are all audio
you won't
listeners.
you won't even know. Okay.
We're also holding Play-Doh. If you're wondering what's in our hands,
yes,
it helps me focus. I thought it might help her too.
Now I probably will be like, and then I'll probably remember something, and then okay, bear with me.
Okay, that's the last time you have to say bear with me.
Okay, and then there ain't no even bear next to me.
What?
And then there ain't no bear next to me. Bear with me, and I have no bear with me. I should carry around a bear. Like a little teddy bear.
Like, okay, bear with me.
I actually do have a bear that Mario got me. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Name dropping on the podcast.
Here we go. Okay. Laci was born on May 4th, 1975 to mother Sharon and father Dennis in Modesto, California. Her parents were high school sweethearts and they ran a dairy farm together. Okay. She has an older brother named Brent, who's 4 years older than her. Dennis and Sharon split up around the time that Laci was about 1 year old. And around the time that she was 2.5 years old, Sharon, her mom, met Ron, who eventually became her stepdad.
Okay.
Dennis, which is her bio dad, he also remarried and had 2 more children, Nathan and Amy. Her mom, Sharon, said that Laci was always smiling and laughing as a baby. Literally, if you go online and you look up Laci Peterson, she's smiling in every picture. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. Like, you can just tell she was such a radiant person, like, just by pictures. Note from teachers stated that she talked too much. Her nickname was Jabberjaws, which... Girl, me too. No, for real.
No, it was the laugh I'm laughing at because I said,
Laci was very outgoing. She had many friends. She had a personality people gravitated towards, and her laugh was infectious. She grew up in a small town, Modesto, like I mentioned, and they always hung out in groups, boys and girls. They were that kind of group that would either like hang out one time, like at one parent's house, and then they would go into another parent's house, but always in groups. Laci was a cheerleader throughout middle and high school. Laci and Brent, her older brother, spent their weekends with their bio dad Dennis on his farm, and that's where she grew a love for gardening. She decided to go to California Polytechnical High School, Cal Poly University, to study ornamental horticulture.
Just your unsureness and looking at me like I'm going to correct you. Like, you're saying it right. I mean, as far as I know.
So that's a little background on Laci. So a little background on Scott. He was born on October 24th, 1972 in San Diego, California, to mother Jackie and father Lee. He was the only child between his parents.
Mm-hmm.
Lee, his father, had 3 children from a previous marriage, and Jackie, his mom, gave birth to a baby when she was 19, ended up putting that baby up for adoption, got pregnant again, put that second baby up for adoption, and then in 1966, she had Scott's older brother, John. And then when he was 4 years old, Jackie met Lee, who was Scott's dad, at community college. Lee, Scott's dad, started his own crating company, and Jackie owned a boutique, so they were pretty well off. Mm-hmm. Side note here, Jackie, so Scott's mom, her father, Scott's grandfather, was murdered when she was a toddler, and her mother had a nervous breakdown, so Jackie had to be raised by Catholic nuns. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. And then for this
so old-timey, right?
Yeah, that is very old-timey. Like, I think she just, like, dropped her off at an orphanage and then picked her back up when she was in high school.
I feel like I've never seen an orphanage ran by nuns. Yeah. Like, where are those?
Yeah. Where are they? Make yourself known.
Like, I guess that's why I thought it was, like, so old-timey. Like, maybe it's not like that a lot anymore.
I mean, we're talking about Scott's grandparents, and if Scott was born in 72, yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah, it's true. I wonder if they are still like that, though. Anyway.
Maybe in other states.
Yeah.
Scott had a lot of friends growing up. He did well academically. In high school, he was the top junior golfer in San Diego. That earned him a partial scholarship for Arizona State University. While there, he was drinking a lot, seeing a lot of women, and he got kicked off the golf team. He then transferred to Cal Poly University, same university as Laci, where he studied agricultural business.
Okay.
So Laci was 20 and Scott was 22 when they first met.
Okay.
She went to go visit a friend at a cafe called Pacific Cafe where her friend worked, and that just so happened to be where Scott also worked.
Okay.
So she saw him. She thought he was cute. The friend was like, oh, yeah, you should go for him. She wrote down her name and number on a napkin and gave it to him, and he threw...
What that friend feels like today.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Not today, but I guess 20 years ago.
Right.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so she gave him a napkin with his name and number, and he, like, ended up throwing it away because he didn't realize what it was, and they probably like, hey, whoa, like,
yeah,
that's my name and number. But they hit it off right away. Before their first date, Laci called her mom and told her, I'm going to marry this guy.
Wow, that's toxic.
Like, she just knew, okay. First of all, they're so good looking. Like, both of them, gorgeous models.
Yeah.
Their first date was deep sea fishing. Laci was seasick the whole time.
What the fuck? Why would you do that for a first date?
I don't know.
Deep sea fishing.
I know. I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. Not for a first date.
Maybe regular fishing, not deep sea fishing.
Yeah, I wonder what his thought process was.
Is it deep sea fishing where you need to, like, do the net down and pull everything up in a net?
Huh.
Like, not like with fishing poles.
I don't know. I guess. Maybe. That sounds awful.
I'm going to look that up while you continue.
Okay. The next week, Sharon, Laci's mom, came down to meet Scott. Scott bought her a dozen white roses, and he bought Laci a dozen red roses and called her ma'am. So right off the bat, very charming.
Yes.
Is getting, making the mother also fall in love with him. Heather, who's Laci's friend from college, said that Scott was very showy. He bought flowers all the time, dinners all the time. They took even a trip to Mexico very early on in their relationship. Constant showering of love and affection and gifts. And she said, back then they didn't have the term love bombing, but if they did, that's exactly what it would be.
Right.
He love bombed her.
Very over the top, extravagant.
Yes.
Grandiose.
Very grandiose. Exactly. However, they moved into an apartment after 2 years of dating and they got engaged in their living room. So not necessarily like grandiose as he normally would.
Right.
That felt more genuine, more
It's
pure.
just fast.
But it's, 2 years, yeah. She would have been like 22, so a little quickly.
Yeah.
On August 9th, 1997, while both still in college, Laci and Scott got married. 150 people attended. Everyone thought they were a good, cute couple. They were coined as the perfect couple and that they looked very much in love.
Wow.
However, not long after the wedding, we know of 2 extramarital affairs that Scott had.
Damn. After the wedding?
After the wedding, after they got married. The first woman, he told he was single, but she ended up walking in on Laci and Scott in bed. I'm not sure how the hell that happened. Like, I don't know if, I don't know if, like, their apartment door was open and the girl just walked in, but that means she had to know that Scott lived there.
Right, so she's been there before.
Yeah. But she walked in on them in bed, and that's when Laci found out about the affair, and that's when the other girl found out that.
That would be so terrifying if some random woman walked into my house while I'm in bed and confronted me about my husband. It's one thing to, like, catch me outside, but in my house, in my bed.
I know. Like, wouldn't you rather have it the other way around, like walking in? I mean, not obviously both options are terrible,
much rather
but like
me walk in, not you walk in on me with my husband. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, by the way, I looked up deep sea fishing.
Yeah.
Deep sea fishing.
Yep, tell us what deep sea fishing.
So, no, it's regular fishing, but the difference is regular fishing is in a lake with smaller fish. Deep sea fishing is out at sea with much larger fish. You can catch, other things like...
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what deep sea. So still crazy for a first date.
Yeah, like what was his... Okay.
Grandiose. We're not just doing regular fishing. We're doing the most craziest kind of fishing there is.
Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice. And the second woman, he told he was married, but in the process of getting a divorce. However, at Scott's college graduation, the girl saw how Scott and Laci were acting towards each other, and she was like, that's very much not a couple on the verge of divorce. I'm just going to gracefully bow out.
That was dumb of him to use that story and then be seen in public with her.
Okay, but as we're seeing now is that he is a cheater. Mm-hmm. He is very comfortable lying.
Yeah.
He has no respect for his marriage or for Laci. Mm-hmm. So
and he thinks he can keep getting away with stuff.
Keep that in mind. Because he didn't stop after the first time. The first time was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
Okay. After they both graduate. So Laci found out about those 2 affairs. She decided to forgive him and move past it. And that's just what they did. Mm-hmm. After they both graduated, they opened up a burger restaurant called The Shack with a loan from Scott's dad, which was a sports bar near a college campus. And it was actually pretty successful. Like, a lot of the kids really liked it.
Wow.
In 2000, they sold it to move back to Modesto, which is Laci's hometown. And Scott's parents gave them $30,000 to put as a down payment for a house.
Wow. That's a huge...
And then I read that
gift.
He gave them another $30,000 for like a golf course membership or something.
That's how much golf course memberships cost? God damn.
Yeah, golfing comes into play a lot. But yeah, Essentially, his parents are pretty well off, and they're helping them get their start, and Laci becomes a substitute teacher, and Scott becomes a fertilizer salesman. They had a golden retriever named Mackenzie and 2 cats named Sam and Gracie. Mm-hmm. Laci always wanted to be a mom, but Scott never wanted to have children. Finally, he changed his mind. They had difficulty getting pregnant at first, but eventually they did get pregnant. It's said that Laci loved being pregnant. She constantly wrote in her diary, and one entry she wrote down, "Scott didn't show a lot of excitement, but I know he really was." That's kind of sad.
That is sad.
Sharon, her mom, was very happy, but kind of suspicious because at first she told him, like, Sharon tells the story about Laci calling her one day and crying and being super upset because she wanted to be a mom, and Scott had told her, like, I don't want any kids. Yeah. And 6 months later, Laci calls her and was like, oh, we're trying. And she's like, but didn't you just say that Scott didn't want any kids?
Right, that's an automatic red flag.
Yeah, and all of a sudden now they're pregnant. It's a bit concerning.
Right.
It's also a bit concerning, too, that, I mean, I don't know if they had this talk beforehand, like before they got married. They probably should have. Like, if that's like if it just didn't match. Like, if he didn't want to have kids from the get-go and she did, then that's not...
Like, they had 2 years before they got married to figure out this situation.
Or maybe he was telling her he did and then, changed his mind and then changed his mind again. I don't know. But at this point, they're 5 years into their marriage.
And this is also the same type of red flag as when couples are fighting all the time, breaking up all the time, and, they broke up last week and next week they're engaged. That's the same kind of red flag.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
The roller coaster is not healthy.
Right.
So it's almost like hard to celebrate an engagement or a baby when you were just on the bottom of the roller coaster.
Right. So I think it's also really important to see here that I think now we can look back and see all these red flags. However, at the time, no one would have, double took or thought twice about.
Yeah, especially if Laci is acting like she's happy.
Exactly. And I think that's a huge, because no one would have guessed. Like, even when they moved into their house, they would have been like 4 years into their marriage, and everyone thought they were newlyweds because of how they acted towards each other.
Yeah.
Her due date was February 10th, oh my God, I put 2023, but it's 2003. Her due date was February 10th, 2003.
Wow, she's pregnant for 20 years.
Yeah, sorry. February 10th, 2003, they named the baby Conner as soon as they found out it was a boy. Laci got started right away on the nursery and made it nautical themed. And she took a lot of prenatal classes, spent most of her time learning how to be a mom. Like, this was like her thing. She loved it. She absolutely loved it. She tried her best to stay healthy, but in her last trimester, she kept getting sick while walking. She talked to her doctor, and the doctor told her she should probably stop walking and rest. This is important.
Okay.
Right?
I do remember this being important for some reason.
Doctor tells her, hey, you need to stop walking. Chill out.
Yeah.
Like, you're in your last trimester. You're getting sick all the time. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
In November 2002, Laci decided to quit her job because the pregnancy was pretty rough on her. To the fact that she can't even do her job.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty rough. 3 weeks before Christmas. Now, there's nothing in the case necessarily where this is important, but they did mention it. So I just wanted to mention on here too, which take everything that I say as you will, okay? There's a lot of information, and some of it could be important, some of it could not be important, some of it supports a theory, and some of it doesn't. So it was hard for me to decipher what all to say here, because I didn't want to sway you guys one way or the other, but I'm just going to try to give everything, okay? So 3 weeks before Christmas, Laci's grandma passes away, and she had an estate that totaled around $2 million to be split between Laci and her siblings when they turned 30.
Wow. $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. On December 15th, Sharon went over to Laci and Scott's house. This would be the last time she would see Laci alive. Scott was supposed to make lasagna, but he was running late. And there's a reason why he was running late that we will talk about later. Mm-hmm. Laci ended up serving some frozen dinner, and Sharon recalled that Laci seemed a bit annoyed. On December 23rd, the day before she was reporting missing, at around 8:30 a.m., Laci goes to the grocery store. She gets a manicure and a facial wax. Facial wax. Around 5:45 p.m., Laci and Scott go to the hair salon where her half-sister Amy works, and Amy gave Scott a haircut. They invited Amy to come over and eat pizza with them, but Amy already had plans. At 8 p.m., they pick up a pizza. At 8:30 p.m., Laci calls her mom to talk about the Christmas Eve dinner that they were going to have at her mom's house, and then about the Christmas party they were going to have at the Petersons' house, which is their house. This will be the last time that Sharon spoke with her daughter. They fall asleep around 10 p.m. per Scott. Now, everything that I say from here on out is per Scott. Okay?
Got it.
So we know for a fact that she called her mom at 8:30 and they talked on the phone. Yep. That is the last known time, that we know for a fact that she was alive.
Yep.
Okay. Everything else, per Scott. Falling asleep at 10 p.m., per Scott. So on the morning of December 24th at 8 a.m., this is what Scott tells the police. Scott wakes up. 8 a.m., Scott wakes up. Between 9 and 10 a.m., Laci and Scott watch Martha Stewart Living, and they mention something about cooking with meringue, which is important to the case. Scott and Laci, they were planning on walking the dog. Or sorry, Scott said that Laci told him she was planning on walking the dog and then maybe later doing some shopping. And he told her that he was going to go golfing, but because it was too cold, he decided to go fishing instead. So he said that that morning at, 10 a.m., he decided to go fishing, which is a little strange because if you typically go fishing, you want to go really early.
Right.
Like 10 a.m., you should already be there wherever you're fishing. So just keep that in mind as well. At 10 a.m., Scott drives to his warehouse where he keeps the fertilizer and picked up his boat. At 10:30 a.m., Scott arrives at the warehouse and checks emails on his computer that he has there, and he answers one email. At 11:30, Scott departs warehouse for Berkeley Marina, which is almost 90 miles away, which where they're living at and where the warehouse is, he could have easily gone 10 miles just to be in water.
Yeah, and also you're already going out late and you're about to drive 90 miles, which is like what, here to Chicago?
Probably, yeah. No, it's not. It wasn't that far.
No, I think Chicago's 140.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's way too far.
Yeah.
But still, like Kelsey said, like you're already going late fishing, and then you're gonna choose to drive 90 miles instead of just 10 miles. You can just get your boat in there.
This was an impromptu fishing situation, and you're already delaying yourself by going to work first. Why would you go out that far?
Going to the warehouse, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you gotta get his boat.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
I mean, but he was answering work emails. Like, he wasn't in a rush. True.
Right.
It wasn't like, let me hurry up and get to the... Like,
yeah, and he was at his warehouse for an hour. So, 40 minutes of that hour could be accounted for with emails and stuff. 20 minutes of that hour could not be accounted for. So, we don't know what he did for 20 minutes while he was at his warehouse. Okay. His boat ticket was stamped with the time 12:45. Between 1:15 and 1:45 p.m., Scott takes his boat around San Francisco Bay. There's a maintenance worker named Mike Elvestry who confirmed speaking to Scott back at the marina, so for sure he was there, according to this witness. At 2:15 p.m., Scott calls Laci, but she didn't answer, so he left her a voicemail, which this voicemail is very infamous because he starts off by saying, "Hey, beautiful, it's 2:15. I'm barely leaving the marina right now. Oh, I wasn't able to pick up that basket for Papa. Maybe you can pick it up instead. All right, see you soon. Love you. Bye."
Why did you say the time, though?
You know what? I thought that was weird, too, but no one in the documentary said that was weird, so it must have been an early 2000s thing where they didn't have the time.
I feel like, yeah, because there's actually a 90s hip-hop song that I really love, where at the end there's a voicemail, and he goes, "Hey, it's me. It's around 10 a.m. Yeah. I'm over here, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah, trust me. When I first heard the time, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. But then it was 2002, so...
Yeah, we're going to let it go.
We're going to let that one go. He stops for gas. There's a receipt timestamped for 3:25. Around 4:15, Scott returns to the warehouse and he unhooks his boat. He returns home around 4:25 p.m. where he finds his dog dragging a muddy leash and the gate is unlocked. Later on, he found out that one of the neighbors had actually seen the dog and put the dog back in the yard. Okay. So he gets home, he's calling for Laci, and he doesn't find her. He assumes that she went to her mom's house, and once he sees her car there, he's like, okay, maybe someone came and picked her up. Okay. But he's not worried. He does a load of laundry for just his clothes that he's wearing that morning.
Yeah, that's weird.
He does a load of laundry for just his clothes, even though there's dirty rags on top of the washer. Yeah. I also read somewhere, or I also listened somewhere where there was rags in the washer getting ready to be washed, but he took those out and put his clothes in. There was a hamper full of dirty clothes that he could have added to it. I mean, I don't do just one outfit. Not that outfit. Not the outfit I wore that day.
No, it would be the outfit I'm going to wear if I need an outfit.
Right. So
suspicious. Very suspicious.
He drinks milk and eats pizza, and then he showers. When he gets out of the shower, he listens to his voicemails where he hears his own voicemail to Laci, and he realizes, oh, she hasn't heard it. And then there is a voicemail from Laci's dad, Ron, asking if they could take whipped cream with them later to the house. So his assumption that Laci's with them can't be true.
Right.
So at 5:17 p.m., Scott calls Sharon, her mom, to find out if Laci was at her house. He mentioned like he says the word missing. Laci is missing. And she's like, what do you mean missing? Like, what? You know what? Call her friends, see if anyone has seen her.
Yeah.
So Scott calls up all her friends. No one has seen her. And again, he says, well, then she's missing.
Yeah.
So he's, putting this
the
little...
together.
Yeah. So calls back the mom, hey, none of her friends have seen her. So finally, Ron, her stepfather, calls the police. Not even Scott. And I thought that was very interesting.
Like he was almost baiting them to call. Like, hey, she's missing, just so you know if you want to call.
Yeah.
I'm not, but you can.
I thought this was very interesting because the call, when you call to 911, they record it. 9 times out of 10, I think they should.
Yeah.
But yeah, they record the phone call. So I feel like he couldn't display what he needed to display to make that phone call.
Yeah.
Like... why wouldn't you call the cops? Right. Why is her stepfather...
You're the husband.
Yeah. So anyways.
Of this lovely marriage that you portray to have.
Right. So then Ron calls the police. He told them that Laci went out for a walk to walk the dog at Dry Creek Park and that the dog had came back alone with the leash. Laci's high school friends started making flyers and posting them everywhere. They walked around neighborhoods, knocking on doors, asking if people had seen her, and they even called the media. However, in the Peacock documentary, the sister-in-law to Scott mentioned that Scott's mom, Jackie, she used to work for some kind of
like news source?
She used to work for PR. She used to work in PR, and that she was actually the one that put in the wire, and that's why the news coverage was so large. Which, okay, maybe that's the case, but literally every reporter said that, hey, this formed an emotional attachment to every viewer because here's this beautiful young woman, 8 months pregnant, and she's missing.
Right.
That's going to grab anyone's attention.
Right. Well, and was the sister trying to say, well, it couldn't have been Scott because our mom is the one who put the wire in. But that doesn't mean that she knew. I'm sure his mom didn't know what he was up to.
Yeah.
She was just as concerned as Laci's parents.
Yeah. Let's see here. At 9:55 p.m., Detective Al Brochini, who's the main detective on the case, was called. He noticed there was thermoses along the driveway and that people were everywhere. When he first met Scott, he said that Scott was very calm. He answered all of his questions. He was very polite. However, Scott would refer to him as Al. Not sir, not detective, but Al. Already on a first name basis. And Al was like, that's different.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
He was trying to butter him up almost. Be friendly.
Yeah, be friendly.
Trick him into believing they're friendly.
Exactly. So Al asked him, hey, what's going on? Tell me